How you guys all doing this morning? No. That was pathetic. You're libertarians. How are you guys all doing this morning? Much better. All right. I'm amazed at the number of people here at the Libertarian National Convention. It's really great to see, really professional, well put on. I'm going to be quick because they told me I only have 8 minutes. My name's Dan Johnson. I'm the executive director of the Tax Revolution Institute, and these are the 3 most important rules in politics. Number 1, you will never win just because you are right. In January 2012, I launched my first organization, People Against the NDAA, dedicated to ending the indefinite detention of American citizens without trial under the 2012 National Defense Authorization Act, and went into politics with this rather naive idea that my politicians would actually defend their oaths to the Constitution. For most of the next 2 years, I spent my days in class dashing out to take a representative's phone call, on conference calls with legislators, and writing analysis trying in vain to show state and local officials how dangerous the 2012 NDAA was and how they should fight it. I met with little success, and at the end of September 2013, though we had introduced or worked to advance legislation in nearly 25 states, we looked back and not a single bill worth anything was signed by the state's governor. It was shortly after that a good friend of mine and I clashed over posting the cell phone numbers of state legislators in order to make them vote for liberty. And I learned a politician doesn't care how right you are. They care about one thing and one thing only, and that is, can you and will you vote them out of office? Will you cause them enough pain to make them defend your liberty? But why? The curious citizen asks, having grown up believing that your representatives actually represented you. It all comes down to job security. The truth is that politicians don't care about an individual constituent. Rather, they thrive on the 51%. And if you don't represent the 51%, well, they don't care about you. The truth is that a business owner who has a product, who has a small section of the population as their clients, will lose income if just one of their customers withdraws their money. If thousands of customers do it, it may be a nightmare. But politicians only care when you get to that 51%. Think about it. If over half, 51% of voters on election day vote against an elected official, that official loses their jobs, their salaries, and if the loss is bad enough, perhaps their entire career. And what happens if they win the 51%? They keep their jobs and their salaries and their careers, and it's business as usual. It is always in the best interest of the politician to stay on the side of the 51%. And what this means is your effectiveness in politics will be entirely determined by your ability to scare a politician into believing you represent the 51% in their district. That leads to the second rule of politics. Never fear confrontation. What exactly has being nice and polite to politicians gotten us? What has meeting with our elected officials behind closed doors, in their offices and on private phone calls done to advance your liberty? Who has pleaded with their rulers only to receive platitudes instead of freedom? No, the reality is that politeness in politics is nothing but a tool for the oppressors to use on the oppressed. For if I can define what is and isn't proper and you stay proper, you will never have any influence on me. And when politicians act, it isn't puppies and rainbows. One new sentence in a law can tear apart families. One new executive order can authorize the death of thousands. Nearly every single time a politician acts, they are acting to strip you of your liberty, to punish you for your choices, and to add insult to injury, make you pay for it. We not only have a right, but a duty to use every tool at our disposal to fight back. This brings us to the final rule. I want you to think for a moment about why you joined this party. What was it? What made you dedicate your time to travel hundreds of miles to represent a third party in a supposedly strictly two-party system and to be here in Orlando today? Odds are it was a set of values, principles, and beliefs that you thought this party could best advance. I want you to remember you came here to vote for those values. You joined a party so it could be a political force to advance those values. The final rule is to hold your closest allies the most accountable. I don't know how many of you have ever sent a letter to John McCain or Chuck Schumer, and why would you? They don't care about your letter to them. They couldn't care less. They have such an anti-liberty voting record that it's almost laughable to send them anything. Yet when McCain calls for war in Eastern Europe, thousands of liberty lovers sign petitions and send letters to his office demanding that he back down. You know how much he cares? He was playing solitaire in a hearing on going to war in Syria. So what should you do instead? Instead of going after the politicians who you know are violating your liberty all the time, well, you should remember the values you joined this party for and hold the politicians that you like the most closest to the fire. The vast majority of peer pressure on politicians and candidates does not come from outside, does not come from we the people. It comes from inside the establishment. That is who they deal with, day in and day out. I spend an inordinate amount of time in D.C. It's not my favorite city. But in D.C., there are probably 99 lobbyists for every one citizen who shows up at their doors. They see the establishment every single day. In Washington and even state capitals, they hardly ever see a citizen. So if we don't hold their feet to the fire from the outside, the only pressure your politicians will get, the only people they will ever believe represent the 51% who can knock them out of office are the establishment hacks they see every day. So what should we do? The minute a politician in this party, or in any party, crosses liberty, we need to immediately and unequivocally say, no, you crossed a line. The minute a candidate for office in this party or any party threatens your freedom, we need to deliver a clear message that that will not stand. We give no quarter, we do not waver, and we stand strong by freedom for all men, all women, and all people. And when that politician comes to our negotiating table, when they want to compromise and apologize, when we have that negotiation and we have set our demands at liberty for all, when they compromise, it will always be in liberty's favor. Now, I must make a plea to you. At the Tax Revolution Institute, we work to make the IRS accountable and transparent. And after seeing how many people now understand how politics really works, the IRS recently released rules to cut citizen activism off at the knees. They would ban most nonprofit advocacy organizations from releasing a politician's voting record or even mentioning their name during election season. 86,000 organizations would be affected. If Congress does not act by October, these rules will start to go into effect, and within a few years, the IRS will have done what really only that agency ever could: target and take out the work of thousands of activists around the country and tip elections even more in favor of crony capitalism, incumbent politicians, and special interests. We need organizations, libertarian, left, and right, across the nation to unite to defeat these rules before they come to pass, especially those of you and those organizations who are unafraid of confrontation. The website is taxrevolution.us to join the coalition. I'll end on this. Samuel Adams once said, "If ye love wealth better than liberty, the tranquility of servitude better than the animating contest of freedom, go home from us in peace. We ask not your counsels or your arms. Crouch down and lick the hands which feed you. May your chains set lightly upon you, and may posterity forget that ye were our countrymen. The time has come to fight for liberty, for freedom, for individuals, for the downtrodden, to demand our liberty instead of asking for it. And I hope you will join me in this fight. I hope to see you at the Tax Revolution table and at the continuing of this talk on how politics really works in Salon 11 at 11 a.m. And never give up the fight to legalize our freedom. Thank you very much.